Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to my August monthly roundup where I'm going to be sharing all of my thoughts on the products that I tried this month, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between. So without further ado, let's get started. Now I know it might not seem like this, but I haven't filmed for weeks, okay? I pre-filmed for the last bit of our school summer holidays so that I could spend that time completely present and just with my children, not worrying about videos and things. So I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. This video is likely to be a mess is what I'm saying. But we move. What's new? What's new with that? So I'm going to start off with the item that just happens to be nearest to my hand because what better way to start, frankly. And it's the Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction eyeshadow palette, the latest Mothership X, Mothership 10, Moonlit Seduction. Pick a name, will we? Please do. So I did 3 looks using this palette in my initial review of this, and I've barely used anything else. I will say I haven't worn makeup very much the last few weeks. It's been the summer holidays. I've been doing a lot of child related focused days out. So what's the point is my feeling. Those little people could not care less what I look like. Let's just say that. But when I have done my makeup, it's been using this. Now, one of the not the issues, but one of the negatives I spoke about in my review of this palette is the lack of a sort of transition shade. So I have used this in combination with Midnight Sun. Is that right? This is really confusing. Midnight, Moonlight, what's happening? Yes, Midnight Sun, you know, the last Mothership. So I have been using the mattes, the transition shades, the neutrals out of Midnight Sun with this. I've also tried this with just a bit of bronzer. And I've also found that actually if you use this shade really lightly, like I have done today, it looks more neutral on the eye than you might expect. Or if you add kind of some of this and it then becomes a very berry toned look. So I've definitely, I would say, played around with this and just got to know it better and just tried different things with it and on its own as well. And I liked this in the review, but now it has grown, blossomed into a full-blown love affair. I now absolutely love this palette. I'm loving it more and more every day. In my initial review, I spoke about how the shimmers were my favourite shimmers I think that I've ever used from Pat. The only thing that was missing was that transition shade, that neutral shade to help me do more daytime neutral looks. And, you know, I feel like now I'm not missing it so much. I can pull a bronzer, I can pull from Midnight Sun, which I don't love having to do, but it's worth it for me. The shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. It's probably the makeup item of this year so far that has given me just the most joy. It's really a rarity these days where I buy a new makeup product and it just sits on my dresser and I get excited to do my makeup again. And this palette is giving me that excitement again that I've been missing. Looking forward to doing my makeup, wanting to do makeup every day so that I can play with this palette. And I don't really want to use any other eyeshadow. It's definitely grown more and more and more as the days go by. So there's that. So next up, let's talk about this mascara, the Noir Allure mascara from Chanel. I also did a full review of this mascara this month. Now that was about 2 weeks ago that I think I reviewed this, and that was the first day that it was opened. I mentioned in that review that this only has 6 grams, which is a very small fill amount, almost, well, half, in fact, not almost, half of what a lot of mascaras contain. A normal average mascara fill is 11, 12 mils or grams. This is 6. It's like a travel size amount, okay? It's stingy, is what I'm saying. Now, I'm wearing this mascara today. I think my lashes look phenomenal. I love how this mascara looks on the lashes. It's one of, if not the most lifting mascara that I remember using. I really, really like the effect it gives on the lashes. I also find it very easy to use, and I love that it's very, very nice on lower lashes as well as upper lashes. I've gone completely yellow because the sun's come out, and welcome to The Simpsons. Go away, sun. It specifically says in the forecast it's supposed to be raining and thunderstorms today. What are you doing here? I love the component to this. I love this push-up click thing. It's just, you know, I'm lazy. And just the fact that I just shove it back in there and with no twisting kind of makes my life easier, and I love it. I'm here for it. I love the sheet component. Also, one of my favorite things about this mascara is it is the easiest to remove mascara I've ever tried, I think. It's so easy with like an oil cleanser. It comes right off. Now, what I have learned over the last couple of weeks since my review, the new developments with this mascara, one, do not even think about wearing this if you might cry. That's my advice to you. I was watching Married at First Sight. No judgment, please. And I'm not going to lie to you, I cried, okay? I'm just going to throw it out there. I cry at everything. Since I had children, some kind of tap got turned on and I just cry. I'll cry at anything, okay? I never used to cry, never used to be a crier. Now, literally takes nothing. I'm just constantly just tears gushing from my eyeballs. This fully left my face, okay? It was like melting like a flood, like a mudslide down my cheeks. It was an utter mess. So my advice to you is don't wear this if you might cry or you have watery eyes or anything like that. It will literally just be like a disaster. Okay, mudslides all up in here. Terrible. I guess that's part and parcel with the fact that it's so easy to remove, that like water just looks at it and it's like jumping off your eyelashes. So there's that. The second thing to note, which is as predicted with such a small amount of product in this component, is it is definitely already vastly, rapidly declining with as regards to its aging process. This is getting worse by the day. It's definitely feeling quite dry now. I'm definitely starting to get some flaking and crumbling as the formula dries out, and it's just starting to clearly age and be ready for the bin in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, I think. So it's definitely not giving you any value for money. And yes, it is a nice mascara. And yes, I do really love how it looks. But if you don't want to have to replace this incredibly expensive mascara every couple of weeks, I wouldn't recommend it. I think there are better mascaras. I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury. I prefer the MAC Stack. I prefer other mascaras that I can't remember. The Bite Beauty, although does she exist anymore, and the Pat McGraths are all going to give you most of what this is going to give you, if not something a little extra. It's nice, it's lifting, it's lengthening, it gives you a bit of drama with a few coats, but is it worth it for the hefty price tag and the fact it's going to run out in a couple of weeks? I don't think so, but what do you think? Let me know. Next up, let's talk about these Dior lipsticks. These are their first ever bullet format lipstick that does not transfer. They claim it to be 100%, 100, not 99, 100% transfer proof, what is going on? 100% transfer proof bullet lipstick, and I'm a big fan. I picked up 3 shades initially. I talked about this. The swatches are very confusing online. Very confusing, but so I didn't want to go wild because I just did not know what was going to be arriving, so I picked up basically all the nudes, 200, 300 and 518. I have got a video on these if you want to see these swatched on my lip and see the full tea. I really love these. They are very long wearing. As it says, they are transfer proof. I do find if you eat like if you went out for like a bowl of spaghetti or sushi and you're going to eat a lot of like oily food, then you will get, it will break down the lipstick in like the middle of your mouth. But for most, like I have eaten meals and snacks and gone to the cinema and there's been nothing, like nothing has moved. Certain foods, certain meals, okay, are going to get in there. They're going to manage it. But otherwise, drinks, coffee, snacks, a lot of food will get past these with no problem. No transferring on cups or glasses, and certainly not, you know, if you kiss your hand or you kiss somebody else's hand or their face, it will all be fine. Your secret's safe with these. I did say I was going to pick up some more shades of these, and I went into the nearest shop that I have that stocks, that has a Dior counter, and they didn't have them. So I went in wanting to swatch and choose shades, but they didn't have them yet. So that is pending. I still want to pick up some like brights and some more like the peachy colours, but I don't even know where to start online. The swatches are very confusing. So I still love these. I still want to purchase more, but I have to wait until they are available in my store. Next up, I did a little bit of a Lisa Eldridge haul this month. Nothing new, but things that were new to me. Let's start off with Velvet Morning, which is ridiculous that I didn't buy this because it's like literally me. It's me in a Lisa Eldridge lipstick. So I couldn't really tell you why I've never bought this. I think I just didn't initially choose this colour with her first like velvet launch. I don't know why. And then there's just always been new colours to pick, you know, and so you neglect the old ones, the existing shades. But I finally picked this up and it's everything I hoped for and more, and everything you guys told me it would be. And yes, I do absolutely love it just as much as I do all my Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. It's just the perfect like orange red, but really more orange than red, you know. I love it. Beautiful. At the same time, I decided to pick up a couple of shades of her liner, which is like my favourite liner formula. So long lasting, so creamy, and she just has the perfect shades. We've said it before, Lisa Eldridge is a genius when it comes to colours, colour theory, and she just gets these sorts of things right just like nobody else. So I was looking for a liner that I could use with my Dior Mimi Rose, as you guys know, my favourite lipstick to ever exist. And I wanted a liner that would help me wear that shade in like the depths of summer when it's a bit light for me. So I purchased Fawn and Petal. Let's get closer. Fawn and Petal. So Fawn is like more of a sort of neutral, Petal is a bit pinkier. So those are the shades that I picked up to like specifically to complement Mimi Rose, and Petal is it. I thought it would be. I wanted Fawn anyway, just for like a lighter nude liner, but Petal is absolutely it. If you have Mimi Rose and you want a liner that's going to work beautifully with it, Petal is just perfect. It's also, although I'd say it's like a pinkier coral type of shade, it does go with like so many colours, so many like peachy colours and light and corals. It's perfect. I didn't think it would be maybe deep enough, but it is. It just gives the perfect amount of definition to the lips. Love it. One of my favourite liners ever. Next, let's talk about these Chanel Fall lipsticks. So I passed on the eyeshadow, but I picked up two shades of the new Allure colours for fall. I picked up 209 and 212, and they are delightful. I've never tried this formula from Chanel before, so it was brand new to me. It's so creamy and hydrating. These are both quite rich nudes. Like someone asked me, are there any lighter nudes? Not out of these two. These are both quite warm, rich nudes. So 209 and 212. 209 is like my perfect everyday sort of autumn nude lip. It's just very easy to wear. 212 is a bit richer and more autumnal, whereas this one is certainly wearable all year round, but they are beautiful and I really like this formula. I definitely would choose more shades in it. It's very comfortable, hydrating, creamy and light on the lips, just what I like. It's not as shiny as like my Dior Addicts, so you know it can't be number one, but a really nice formula from Chanel. Next up, let's talk about the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I was a little bit befuddled. I don't know if you noticed, I was a little bit befuddled in my review of this concealer because it's just quite different for me. This sort of radiant finish, luminous under eye area was brand new information for me. I like all of my concealers are matte pretty much. I've tried like, you know, the NARS has a bit of luminosity to it. So like a real sort of like glowing concealer is quite new to me. I got on very well with this in the review. Like there's no creasing, there was no movement. It gave me way more coverage than I thought. And once set, I actually quite liked the luminosity and just like the life and the brightness that it gave me. When it's not set, it is like glowy. Okay, it's glowy. So I know that's not for everyone. It's going to enhance texture, it's going to just draw your eye to like lines and things under your eyes. So most people won't be a fan of that unless you're like 11. But it did cover way more than I thought it would and look very natural. But the thing about this concealer, it's so light and nice feeling under the eyes. This literally feels cool, hydrating and fresh under the eyes and light as air. You can't feel it. It's so nice and light and it looks nice and light and natural and fresh, which I love. The feeling of it is delightful. frankly. And with a few more uses of this concealer, I've definitely not like noticed any new negatives about it. I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoy the feeling of it. I think the coverage is fantastic, way better than I thought it would be. And as I said, when it's set, I don't notice any enhancement of texture then. You know, it does tone down the luminosity once it's set with powder, and it looks really, really nice. It wears fantastically well, and it doesn't crease or separate or do anything strange throughout the day. It wears beautifully, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know that I like it as much as my Huda Beauty, because that one is just insanely smoothing under the eye. So I think it's more flattering than this. But for like a natural makeup everyday, kind of quick on the run, I've been reaching for this one and really enjoying it because it is nice and fresh, and it gives you quite an awake look to your eye area. So this is a big hit for me. While we're talking about Charlotte Tilbury, let's do the one skincare item I have from the brand, and it's the new Glow Toner. And you can see I've used the whole thing up. It's completely gone. So I feel like I have, you know, a lot to say, a lot of experience with this product. It's probably lasted me about a month. It's not huge, not a huge amount in here. You get 150 ml. I've definitely had like toners last a lot longer than this one did. So the thing about this is it claims to be like a brightening, glowing toner that's going to give you bright glowing skin without the use of acid. So it's acid free, which for lots of people is a nice change because it's going to be much more gentle for your skin. So I don't have like visible pores. That's the other thing this claims to do, is reduce the appearance of pores. So I can't comment on that. But what I will say is this does leave my skin beautifully smooth. I love the scent. It feels really nice and hydrating on the skin. I haven't noticed a difference to like the appearance of my skin as far as like the glow. You definitely don't get as much with this. Once I used this up, I went back to my Ren, which is like a vitamin C toner, and you know, that's like the Pixie Glow Toner. Those definitely give like my skin looks glowing when I've been using it, but they are harsher and you can overuse them. This I've used morning and evening every day, and obviously it's not harsh, it's not stripping my skin too much, so I appreciate that, and it does leave my skin feeling super soft and smooth, which is great. But yeah, I definitely don't feel like it gives my skin that sort of glow that like an acid toner does, as you probably would expect. So yeah, pros and cons. I liked it. I probably wouldn't repurchase it, but I have enjoyed using it. I'd say it's, you know, it's fine. It's nice, but nothing life-changing. Next, let's talk about the lipstick that I'm wearing today, which is one of the Powder Kiss Velvet Blur Slim Sticks from MAC. This is the shade Gingerella. I was going to say Gingerella. Gingerella is what it's actually called. MAC sent me across some of the new shades of this new formula, and I really like these. These are kind of along the same vein to the Dior ones, but these do transfer. So you can see I've been drinking my coffee, and definitely transfers on mugs. If you're going to be snogging someone, be warned, we're going to notice, all right? So you've been warned, you naughty people. But like all the Powder Kiss formulas from MAC, they have bullets and also a liquid in this formula. It gives you that fluffy matte, but like in a velvet matte feeling and look to the lips. They're not as drying as like a dry down matte, and very, very comfortable, very creamy, lovely shades available. Like I said, they will transfer, so they're not like bulletproof. They're not going to get through an entire day without a touch up, but they are longer wearing than say like a more shinier lip or a cream finish. They are definitely some nice long wearing decent matte lipsticks, really comfortable, don't dry your lips out, really nice shades. And I love the way that MAC is going with their packaging. I'm liking this. Like, the comeback for MAC is continuing, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Next up, let's talk about these tweed quads from Chanel. So I have done a full review of all 4 of the tweed quads. It's already up on my channel. I've had these for months now. As I said in my review, I was able to get these early, and I have been using them for a good long while. Lots of you have been asking. I've been putting in my description box, I can't say what the palettes are until they're released. So a lot of you have been saying, what's that on your eyes? What's that on your eyes? It was these the whole time. Okay, I've had them for months. They are now available. Who knows for how long? Maybe they've already sold out as I'm saying these words. These are a bit of a mixed bag for me, okay? Perp, I just feel is completely pointless. It just has no pigmentation, no variation of shades, no light and shade between them, and they just really barely show up on the eye. And what does show up just pretty much becomes like one color. It's very hard to actually get any kind of definition or difference between the shades or depth because there's just no pigmentation in here. I feel like it's a real waste of what is actually a pretty beautiful color story because it's just not pigmented enough to really show up or give me something, you know? The other three I feel are in keeping with like Chanel's typical aesthetic. You know, Chanel have never done like Pat McGrath shadows, Natasha Denona shadows. They're not giving us like pigmentation. They're not giving us impact, okay? See it from across the room glitter. Chanel are never going to do that. It's always a more refined, sophisticated, quieter look that you would get from Chanel eyeshadows. And Chanel makeup pretty much in general also. These are giving me that if you are super into Chanel eyeshadows and you want that classic, understated, pretty soft, quieter eyeshadow look, I think you'll love these. And the little touches, like the little tweed pouches that you get are beautiful. They're not like knocking my socks off as far as the eyeshadows because they are soft, subtle, quieter. But the other three all have very pretty color stories. You know, I love this peachy little quad. Would I personally love it to have more impact and be a bit more, you know, beaming as far as the shimmer? Yes, definitely. But I can appreciate them when it comes to Chanel. They don't have any fallout. Each of these, other than Perp, which just deserves to go in the bin, give you a pretty, beautiful, very smooth and flattering look. I think if you like Chanel eyeshadows, you will love these and really enjoy them. Except for Perp. I don't think anyone's going to enjoy that. I don't know, maybe they will. If you enjoy Perp, please let me know in the comment section down below because I'd love to know if anyone does. But it's not me. This is my favourite. This is Brun et Rose, and I think this is my favourite because it's just that cool tones. It's a bit different. It's giving us something a bit different, and the shimmer is just a bit more impactful when you compare it to, I mean, look at the difference between like that and what this is giving us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think none of these are making it into like my top 10 eyeshadows of all time, but they are my favorite formula that I've tried from Chanel. And I do think the Brun et Rose is actually really beautiful and pretty. So yeah, these are a mixed bag. I think if you are a Chanel lover, you will appreciate them and love them much more than if you are just trying them because they're super hyped up. You probably think, what is going on? Because they are different to like, they're not like Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona. They are Chanel and they do represent Chanel's vibe very, very well. And yeah, so highs and lows from that collection. Next up, this month, I picked up another shade of the Dior Addicts. This is when I went hunting, okay, for these and did not find them, but I did find all of the Dior Addicts and I've never got to see these in person. Okay, and so I had to buy another one because I just can't stop buying these. Got them coming out of my ears now. But I saw this one, and this is Dior Canage, and I do not know why I didn't already buy it, and I was really confused. And obviously I was in the shop and I was thinking, do I already have this? And I've forgotten about it because that's a possibility. But luckily I didn't. So this is 716 and it's just the perfect everyday nude in this formula, which I think was something I was missing. They've got a lot of lighter nudes in the Dior Addict formula, but for me, especially in summer, I was missing something a bit richer for my skin tone, and this is it. It's the perfect everyday nude, especially for summer when I'm a bit more tanned. So yeah, 716. It's one of my favourite ever shades. It's not going to be Mimi Rose, okay? I'll say that. But it might be my favourite nude from the collection, so that's exciting. Next up, I thought, why not? We've already talked about the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Toner. Let's fill you in on another skincare product. So this is the Glow Recipe Plump Hyaluronic Cream. moisturiser. So this isn't completely used up, but it's almost. We've probably got maybe 2 or 3 days left of this. Finally got around to using this. I have so much skincare to get through. I get sent a lot of skincare, and I finally got around to using this that I actually purchased myself. And this is so lovely. I've been using this for my daytime moisturiser. For my daytime moisturiser, I don't know about anyone else. I just want it to moisturise me. Is that just me? I seem to be the only one. I don't want it doing extra stuff. I just want it to be SPF free, moisturizing, hydrating. That's all I ask for. I do like my treatments and like attack the face in the evening time. That's when I choose to do that. In the daytime, I just want to prep my skin for makeup. I want to wake my face up because it's half asleep still on my pillow, and give myself a bit of life and hydration for the nation. This does that to a T. It's so fresh, hydrating. It literally feels like someone slapped me around the face with a bag of peas that have been in the freezer, or something more pleasant feeling than that. It feels like water is just like being slooshed on your face. It's so cooling, hydrating, freshening, awakening. I love it. It's so nice. The feel of it is so nice. It calls itself a dewy moisturiser. I definitely agree with that. I don't know if you're going to like this if you have oily skin, because it definitely gives you a boost of dewiness to the skin, which doesn't last all day. It does take a while, I will say, to absorb into the skin. So you might not like this as much if you want to quickly do your makeup after skincare. But for me, this is a really nice, nourishing, really beautifully hydrating moisturiser, and I have very much enjoyed its company. And lastly but by no means leastly, I want to talk about these these 2 fragrances that I purchased samples of this month from Memoize London. So Memoize London is a London-based niche fragrance brand. They popped into my mind's eye, my vision, this month. I think because they appeared maybe on Selfridges or something as a new brand, and I hadn't heard of them before, and I'm all up for trying new fragrances and new fragrance houses that I haven't tried before. I wasn't familiar with them, and now I am, so I appreciate that. So on their website, fantastically, they do these little samples of all of their perfumes that you can order. These are the small ones, so they are only 2 mils, just enough to kind of get an idea of the scent, but I think they do like 7 mils as well, so I would highly recommend trying those before you buy, because I chose 2 of which I was going to choose my favourite and buy the full bottle, and actually I'm not going to buy either of these, and I'll tell you why. So first up, let's talk about Magus or Magus. This one was the one that I thought I would like the most, and I just found it really underwhelming. It's nice, it's got some notes in there that I like. It's got a bit of a powdery quality to it. It has a lot of notes, like I said, that I thought that are like my typical notes that I go for. But in reality, I just found it underwhelming. Like, it didn't smell special or like something I don't already own. It just, yeah, I just was underwhelmed by it. And the kind of overwhelming like quality to it is the powderiness, which is I'm just not a fan of. So that was surprising. It wasn't how I expected that fragrance to smell. The other sample I ordered is Unitas, which is one of their most popular fragrances. Now this one I loved and performs incredibly long lasting, incredible sillage, projection. Everyone's going to smell you, everyone's going to compliment you. So why, I hear you ask, are you not going to purchase the full size? Here's the thing. This to me is almost a dupe for Mascara's Red Tobacco, which I already own, and it's not as potent as Red Tobacco. Red Tobacco from Mascara is known as being like the most beast mode fragrance of all time. It's so strong and potent and powerful. This smells almost identical in the dry down to that. It's that really strong, potent tobacco-y scent. It's beautiful. I love it. It performed incredibly well. It's slightly quieter than Red Tobacco, but given that I already own Red Tobacco, I definitely don't need both. So both of those were a pass and a lot of money saved for me, because I was certainly going to buy at least one of those. So there you have it. Those are my updated thoughts on everything that I tried that is new to me this month. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.